I've got 12 Cologne fragrances that are going to have you so ready for the fall. Every one of these just kind of screams autumn. They're perfect for the kind of weather we're going to be heading into in just a couple months. Can you believe we're already halfway through August, beyond halfway through August? So we're going to get into this list. Before we do, remember to subscribe if you haven't done that. Also give a very fall, autumn-ish click to the like button if you like the video. Let's go ahead and begin. This first one, I think this fragrance profile is perfect for the fall. This one is a dupe of Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma, Coral Fantasy. What a name. This one is Latafa Jasor. And the notes, I mean, think about what we've got here. You have this apple in the opening, this kind of the star of the show. You've also got, though, a tobacco note, kind of a dry tobacco note with a little bit of a woody facet. You've also got some geranium, giving it a little bit of spiciness. They play together in a very interesting way that to me reminds me of, think of, I don't know, the apple motif in the fall, as well as that sort of woodiness as well. It's just a really beautiful fragrance, and I think fall is actually the perfect time of year to wear this Latafa Jasor. This next one, I think absolutely, if you had to say what season was this made for, it was made for the autumn. This one is a dupe of Parfums de Marly Cologne. And this is Ramon Bazar Bravano. I got to remember all that. Converge. I think this is a sub-brand of Dumont. I can tell you this is a extrait de parfum. And in this fragrance, you're going to get a saffron, which a lot of people, it reminds them of BR540, as well as some citrus in the opening. There's a little bit, I think it's orange and maybe bergamot. But then you go down into this earthiness, a very distinct earthiness. This is a fragrance that I've only worn, as in this fragrance profile, 4 or 5 times. I've really got to be in the mood for it. Surprisingly, my mother-in-law absolutely loves it. My wife loves it, although I wouldn't say it's an overly feminine fragrance. It's divisive for sure. There's also something waxy in it. It's not iris, but it reminds me a little bit of iris, maybe some sort of a resin or something like that. But again, if you like Cologne, I don't think there's any debating that fragrance was made for the fall. Right here, Ramon Bazar Bravano Converge. Man, these clone companies got to make it easier on us to tell you guys about what these are. All right, this next one, this one right here, man, has just captured me. This is a gorgeous fragrance. I don't even know if it's actually a dupe or not. I have actually heard some people, there is a fragrance I think it's a dupe of, but I've never smelled the original. I can just tell you this is absolutely gorgeous and edible. This is Swiss Arabian's Shaga Oud Tonka. And this is a beautiful almond, vanilla, tonka bean fragrance. It's very much a gourmand fragrance. Almost smells like cookies or something like that. There's a little bit of Turkish rose in here. There's a little bit of orange blossom. It doesn't come across as a very floral fragrance, nor does it come across as a very feminine fragrance, but it is gourmand, and you've got to be okay with the gourmand. If you like almond, think like Parfums de Marly Pegasus, or even Mancera's mint, oud mint, lemon mint, you know the one I'm talking about. That kind of almond, kind of a powdery almond with some sweet vanilla and all that other goodness. This stuff is incredible. Shaga Oud Tonka. All right, next up, this one again, I think is just a fragrance that was made for the fall. There's a ton of dupes now of St Laurent Tuxedo, and I think this is absolutely one of the best. I've got 3 or 4 myself. This is my favorite for sure. This is Fragrance World's Suits, and it is a beautiful, it's a patchouli. It's got a good bit of vanilla. It's got a good bit of spiciness. It is sort of a almost leathery kind of fragrance. I don't know if it actually has leather in it, but it gives you a little bit of a vibe of like sort of a spicy, leathery, vanillic, patchouli fragrance. if you've smelled it, you know what it is. It's super unique. I wore this one last night, and it's one of the reasons I'm doing this video. So very good. Get something that smells like Tuxedo, and this is one that I would recommend, and super cheap now as well. Less than 30 bucks, even on Amazon. All right, next up, this has become one of my favorite fragrance pickups probably of the past year. I'm loving it. I've mentioned it now in 3 or 4 videos, but I'm wearing the absolute crap out of this one. This is Liquid Brun by F.A. Paris, a branch of Fragrance World, and it is a very good dupe of Parfums de Marly Altair. And it is vanilla, but it's vanilla with praline. This sort of nutty, caramely, again, gourmand kind of vanillic fragrance with also some cinnamon, a little bit of spiciness in there. If you like praline, to me, if I could point to one thing it reminds me of the most, it's pralines. That, you know, caramely, nutty kind of a candy. Super dose of vanilla. This stuff is awesome. Liquid Brun, great performance right here as well. Excellent stuff. All right, next up, we'll go with this one. This is a clone of a discontinued fragrance by Yves St Laurent, L'Homme Ultime. I never got to smell the original, but this one, Rassi, the Essential for Men, is that wonderful ginger. It's got a good bit of spiciness in here as well. There's both some fresh spicy and some warm spicy elements. It's in the vein of something like I recently picked up YSL's La Nuit de l'Homme Les Parfums, which is also an aromatic, spicy fragrance. This one is like a quintessential aromatic fragrance with like some juniper in here and some other aromatics, but also some warm spicy. So an aromatic, warm spicy fragrance. Check out the notes and see if it sounds like you would like it. There's a touch of an old school vibe, not in an old man kind of way, more in a nostalgic kind of way. Rassi, it's essential. Gorgeous stuff right here. All right, this next one, this is one that I don't know if you can still get it, but I hope that you can. I know you can, I think you can still get it because you can still get most of the FOMO fragrances. This is a dupe of Dior Homme Parfum, a gorgeous Irish fragrance. This is FOMO's Gary's Den Les Parfums. And if you can still get it, this was like a, I don't know, $32 or maybe $35 alternative, extrait de parfum alternative to that easily $150 to $190 fragrance. And it's gorgeous. You've got that lipsticky iris. You've got some rose contributing to that awesome floral vibe. You've also got some chocolatiness and some woodiness. It's just, it is, if you know the Dior Homme Intense and Parfum kind of DNA, you know what you're getting here, and it is awesome. But you've got to love that lipsticky iris because this one has a super dose of it. All right, next up, this one is an oud fragrance with a good bit of sweetness. This one is actually an alternative to Arabian's Tonka, which is sort of a dark, oudy, you know, more synthetic oud fragrance with a lot of sugary sweetness. And that's exactly what this one is. This is Pendora Scent's Noir d'Arabie. And I think this would be a great beginner oud fragrance. I would say this one or Lattafa's Badi Al Oud for Glory. They're different. The Lattafa has got more of a saffron kind of spiciness. This one's just sort of that textured woodiness with a good bit of sweetness. It's really, really good stuff. And I would recommend this to anyone who's interested in trying out oud maybe for the first time. And again, Noir d'Arabie by Pendora Scents. All right, next up, this one is an alternative to Stronger With You Absolutely, which was sort of a boozy take on that Stronger With You DNA. This is Proud of You Absolute by Fragrance World. And they did a really good job of capturing that warm, vanillic, ambery, spicy, Stronger With You vibe, but also the booziness. The booziness is definitely prominent and obvious, and they did a good job without making it what's the word? Without making it pungent. And so check this one out if you like Stronger With You. Absolutely. Proud of you. Absolute. All right, next. This one's interesting. I never tried the original of this one, but this is a dupe of a discontinued Bath & Body Works scent that apparently a lot of people really loved. That one was called Mahogany Woods. This one is called Hardwood by Fragrance World, and it is basically woods and citrus. It's a pretty simple fragrance, but there's something in that simplicity that's really, really good. With the orange, there's a good bit of sweetness, although I wouldn't call this an overly sweet fragrance, but it's in the fall, this is perfect. Orange and woods in the fall, this is what you need right here. Hardwood by Fragrance World. All right, next up, this one I debated putting in here, but to me, this is going to be an all year round fragrance. This is another one of my favorite pickups of the past year because I'd never really heard anybody talk about it, and I think it's a sleeper. This stuff is awesome. This is King of Diamonds, and it's actually a dupe of Virtus Narcosis, King of Diamonds. It is a mango fragrance, a lot of mango, good bit of sweetness, but also some coffee, and there is a green note and some woodiness. I perceived it as oud, almost like a piney oud, mixing with that coffee and some mango, which sounds like a train wreck, right? It sounds like such a clash of fragrances, but it works so good. This stuff is addictive. Some people take that green and wood note and say that it reminds them of cannabis. I don't really get that. To me, it's just a very interesting, complex, gorgeous fragrance, and it's inexpensive as well. King of Diamonds, even though it's mango, those dark notes make this one pretty much perfect for the fall, in my opinion. And the last one, number 12, this is one, I don't even know what to compare it to, but this one is powerful, it's dark, it's mysterious, it's sexy. This is Traidor Melodia by Sergio Volante. I believe that this is a Dumont sub-brand as well, although it doesn't say Dumont anywhere on the bottle. But this one is a dark, leathery, oudy kind of fragrance. In the opening, there is this sweet fruitiness, almost like a grape jam or like a grape juice kind of a fruitiness, but then you go down into this sort of dark incense as well. There's some sort of like a smoky, like incense kind of a note with a good dose of like leather and oud, that sort of dry darkness. It is a very complex fragrance. It smells very expensive, and I think this would be like a formal wear or night out kind of fragrance. But if you want to experiment with something a little on the edges, a little more risky or challenging, and those notes sound good to you, then I would encourage you to check this out, Traidor Melodia. And so that's been 12. These are, in my opinion, epic fragrances for the fall. But tell me in the comments, what would be your picks for clones this coming fall? Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and give the video a like. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.